Hello again. I'm still Leonid Glazachev, and this episode continues those light-hearted summer podcasts from Barcelona. And today we're going to talk about such interesting things as our decision making, moreover, educated decision making in both our personal and business lives. In particular, together we are going to concentrate on hoaxes and fallacies, and I'll definitely use my favorite hobby, that is audiophilia, to provide you with some interesting examples. But it goes much and well beyond audiophilia. We're going to talk how to avoid falling into the traps prepared for us, sometimes meticulously, in our everyday business and personal lives. First of all, I must admit one very sad fact. Most audiophiles are old, or very old, especially when it comes to audiophile societies and groups. Also, as another extremely technically savvy audiophile, a colleague of mine, and not my words, this is his words, what he said was, so many audiophiles are very well educated, but regrettably, they have very little technical knowledge and do not have a solid technical background in engineering or physics or radio electronics or anything like that. Given that last statement, it's not surprising that many audiophiles either stick to their outdated beliefs that they've inherited from their parents or learned during their youth, university, school years, or whatever, and also that so many of them are gullible enough to believe all those snake oil marketing pieces from numerous companies around us. Time for hard truths and weird beliefs. Haters are very welcome. Join the ranks. First of all, among quite a number of extremely competent, experienced, and knowledgeable hi-fi designers, regrettably, there are quite a few that belong to two other categories. The former are what I call innocent true believers. That is, they're spreading something that's complete BS, but they believe it honestly, and they hear the difference, whatever it is. The second category is intentional snake oil peddlers. When it comes to true believers who are innocent, but they're still peddling something that doesn't work, a story that immediately comes to mind is from the latest DC Audio Fest that I attended with a group of audiophiles in November last year. One of the guys whom I met there was selling and advertising silver cables. Nothing bad about silver except for it's considerably more expensive compared to copper. But when we're talking about cables, the only two things that determine the cable's behavior and characteristics are its conductivity, that depends on the material obviously, and also its shape. As far as it comes to copper versus silver cables, if the shape is the same, then obviously it doesn't affect the impedance, and silver and copper conductivity only differs by 5%. So silver cables are a hoax. It's nothing more than peddling something that sounds luxurious, but makes absolutely no sense. The problem was this guy believed that they truly improve the sound. But the latter category, those snake oil peddlers, are, in my personal opinion, much worse. There is even a company that I personally call snake oil research, but believe me, there are much more of them out there. What they're selling are severely overpriced pieces that do not harm your sound or your system, but are completely useless and severely overpriced. These examples are endless, but they include 10K plus dollar cables, whatever it is, I've mentioned them earlier, power interconnects or speaker cables, vibration dampeners for purely electronic components, as if the electrons can shake inside wires and distort the sound. Also, they include such amazing things as audiophile Ethernet switches. The whole protocol has nothing to do with audio quality whatsoever, or even, you heard me right, audiophile fuses. There are many more categories of those snake oil products, and even if you paid $50 for them, it's still too much because they're worth nothing. If you paid more, you've lost your money. So beware. Regrettably, there are quite a few companies out there who are peddling those snake oil products or otherwise advertising completely false statements, and they're quite numerous. Regrettably, even some reputable brands have partially jumped on this wagon, and the reason is all those things cost maybe a fraction of what they sell for. So it's a great opportunity to improve your bottom line. Summary: beware of false advertising and completely false concepts being marketed as a new breakthrough. Sounds familiar? Because it is. It's true for everything else as well, be it technology, AI, nanotechnology, or any other area where we do not know for sure, where we do not have a background knowledge and trust the others, and sometimes we shouldn't. We need to trust the others. We cannot rely on our opinion alone. So, how to avoid all those traps? The only way I see, and that's what I'm doing, is to get at least a basic level of competence in every important area of your life or business. And that's exactly why as I'm a CEO, I'm still spending several hours a week exploring various tasks and their outcomes with AI tools, as well as tools based and using AI developed at Logros IT, my company, to know all the details so that I can confidently convey the message to the client, have the right words when we're explaining it to our personnel and suppliers, and to understand it myself. Obviously, I do rely on whatever the experts tell me, but sometimes you need to know a little more in order to understand what works, what doesn't, how long it's going to take, how efficient is it going to be, and where it's worth to apply the new technology at all, if the old one works fine. Is it just a fallacy? Is it your hobby, or are you going to get some net profit out of the project? Thank you very much indeed. Have a great day, and I wish you all the best surviving the heat wave if you are living through one. In the next episode, we'll discuss the biggest fallacy and the biggest misconception related to one of my favorite topics: tube, audio, and vinyl.